Hey everybody, this is Griffin McElroy here with Samit Sarkar from Polygon.com, and today we're going to be taking a look at some Destiny 2 footage. Hi Samit.
Hey Griffin, how's it going?
It's going great because I'm seeing some Destiny 2 stuff. I'm very, very excited for this game.
Yeah.
So we should point out that this is from an event that you went to where you got to check out a lot of stuff for Destiny 2. We should point out there's still a lot of stuff that's under embargo, stuff that we cannot talk about, but hopefully we can discuss a lot of what you played. Before we get started, can you sort of tell me what we are going to be seeing today?
Yes, so we have a bunch of video from the European Dead Zone on Earth, and specifically the open world stuff, what people knew in the Destiny 1 as patrol missions, basically. But there's a lot more than that to do in the open world here in Destiny 2.
So we're seeing PvE right now, or is this PvP?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, sorry, it just looked like a PvP match. So you are checking out some of the patrol stuff. What's happening here? Because there's just a dude there, and that's kind of surprising to me as somebody who played like 1,000 hours of Destiny 1.
Yes, so in Destiny 2, you will have NPCs in the game world, not just at the social space. So this guy is Devrim K. As you see, he's the Dead Zone scout. He's this, charming British gentleman, grizzled old guy who's holed up there in the church steeple in what's known as the Trost Land. That's the default starting area for the European Dead Zone when you first load in. And
did he give you a mission or something like that, or is he just a vendor?
So he's a vendor, but he'll also have missions and things for you to do. And if you might have seen there that he's got a faction reward, and that you have to be level 24. That's the I believe the cap, but I'm honestly not 100% sure. But but then you can get the faction rewards.
So this is obviously just a live patrol event that you came across, and it looks like it is the heroic version of that. Can you talk sort of about what they are doing with public events this time around?
Yeah, so public events in Destiny 1 were these things where, they happened on a set timer that was a mystery to everyone. People developed apps to try and decipher the secrets of the game and figure out when they could expect public events to happen. That guesswork is all gone in Destiny 2. Bungie's taken it out of the game. And so the way public events work here is that you have an in-game map in Destiny 2 that you can...
A welcome addition that is frankly like bonkers that was not in Destiny 1.
Yeah, it's wild, but it's here and we can be thankful for it. You just pull it up with, you hold the button to open the director, and what you can do is you'll see literally just public event icons in the various areas of your planet on the map, and it'll have a countdown clock. It'll say, public event starting in 1 minute and 43 seconds.
Okay, so here's the map that we are seeing now. It looks like you've only unlocked like a little bit of it.
Yeah. So what we didn't have the time to get into there, but we might see a little bit later is so that was there are all these zones on Earth in the European Dead Zone, and here I'm walking between them because I don't have a sparrow while my teammates do.
That's kind of rude of them, just showing off on their cool whips.
Yeah, well, they didn't want to wait around for me. That's okay. But one of the other things that you'll have is this. So we're coming upon that icon, that sort of graffiti in the world, and that indicates that there's a lost sector in the area. And lost sectors are this cool new addition. I think calling them a dungeon might be a bit of a stretch, but and here's a little bit of a...
Oh, God. Okay,
Yep.
So what are they? Planetary mats are still in the game?
Yes, Dusklight Shard. But you walk into the lost sector, and it's basically this kind of a place. The graffiti will mark, will let you know that there's a sort of semi-hidden entrance to a lost sector in the vicinity, and then you see here it says lost sector discovered there, and that lets you know that oh wow, cool, a thing. And red barrels are a thing in Destiny 2 as well, so it's fun to shoot those.
It's very exciting.
Yeah, the explosion effects I love. I think that the graphics in this game, they've really done a great job. Probably, freed up by being on the, only on PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
Right.
The stuff looks great. But anyway, when you're in a lost sector, it's literally just a sort of small kind of side area. They vary in size, but you'll go through and you'll shoot a bunch of enemies. And basically at the end, there'll be a mini boss. And once you take down the mini boss, he just gives you like some key that you use to unlock a loot chest at the end.
Are these repeatable? I know when they've talked about these in the past, it's just like, here's another thing that's going to add flavor to the world. These like little hidden mysteries that you can discover, which is like, that sounds really cool, right? That's the kind of stuff I wanted in Patrol in Destiny 1. But I also know that Destiny is a game where you do an activity and then you plan on doing it another 300 times. Are they repeatable in any way? Is that how they are designed?
Yeah, they absolutely are repeatable. In fact, I did the same one twice because there's actually a lost sector underneath the church where Devon K is hanging out. And before I met him for the first time, I just happened to find the lost sector and I did it. And then at some point, you have to do it again, and I got loot the second time as well.
Okay, interesting. So these will be, I guess, farmable if that is how you want to go about playing Destiny. Are they if it's something you come across and you're just like by yourself just running some patrol missions, are they soloable, or are they kind of more strike-like, designed for a fire team?
Oh no, I mean, as you saw there, like I was kind of just messing around, and my two teammates who were granted at a higher level than me, they just sort of burned down the boss really quickly, and so they're totally soloable if you want to go that route. I mean, there might be some that are more difficult than others. I haven't seen a ton of them, but
sure, of course. Yeah, it's worth pointing out we've only seen this one sort of world is where you've been playing on. So I know there's a lot of stuff about like loot and progression that you can't talk about, which is deeply frustrating for me because that's like the stuff that I'm most curious about. We see you picking up these tokens. I'm assuming that's something that you can trade in for loot somewhere in this world.
Yeah, so the EDZ tokens are things that they're different on each planet, obviously, and you trade them into the NPC of the planet, which again in this case is Devon K, and basically just you trade them in for faction rep.
Okay, cool. So what are we seeing here? Is this just another heroic event, or is this the basic version of a public event?
So this, I believe, is again this is the heroic version. I think it maybe started as the basic version, but now it's the heroic version, and it's that same Cabal extraction event. And what I think is fun about the public events in Destiny 2 is that they're not just there's the regular and the heroic version, but they're more involved, I think, than the public events were in the original Destiny. They throw a lot of different enemies at you, and they have a lot of kind of just challenging things to deal with. On this one, there's this big kind of machine there, and you'll have to just take down the boss. But there's another version of I think of this public event where there's like this giant bubble shield that comes down, and there's all these other things that you have to deal with. And
do you get this? In all of their like talking about how they're handling patrol this time around, it sounds like they are trying to add like kind of a third heat to the game, right? Like whenever congrats on your level up.
Oh yeah.
Whenever I played Destiny, like I was usually trying to get loot. Right, I was trying to get like better loot, and the best way to do that, there were like specific ways to do it, whether it was Nightfall or popping 3 coins and farming through strikes or playing the raid at the weekly reset. But after a certain point, I just didn't do patrol anymore because it didn't seem rewarding enough. Do you get the sense that is different here? Like no matter how cool they make patrols, if you don't get good stuff for it, I still think it's something that folks are eventually going to lose interest in.
Absolutely, and I think that's the big idea behind the all the options that you have, like the lost sectors, and one thing that I don't know if there's footage of, and I don't think there is, but another thing.
Sorry, I like that you saw a boss and you're like, oh, I got to get in there and help my team out, but then you saw some material and you're like, well, hold on, wait, I got business to attend to.
You're gonna need those planetary materials, man. But the idea is that not only is there going to be more for you to do, but it's going to be more rewarding. And yeah, obviously, as you were saying, in Destiny 1, there really wasn't much point to doing like the, kill 10 Fallen and get the things that they drop or whatever. But that's just sort of the kind of most basic element here. There's also something called adventures, which are kind of they're maybe a step below story missions in terms of, how they're crafted, but they're fully voiced. They've got their own dialogue,
Yeah, and from what I've heard, those are kind of similar to the Lost Sectors in that you just like start finding clues that tell sort of a bigger narrative story about this particular planet that you're on and the people who inhabit it.
Yeah, and that's another thing that they really wanted to do is layer more story into the actual game world and the activities, because there is no grimoire this time around.
Yeah, sure.
And so that for players who really felt like they had to go outside the game to find the story, that's not going to be the case this time around.
You are so dead. So is this just another public event? Like you just came across this huge servitor and started chipping away at it?
Yeah, this is another public event, and there's a lot of again, as I was saying, they pop up on the map, and you know exactly when to expect them, and so there were a lot of times where I was playing with people, and we just sort of were like, oh well, we're in the area and one is about to spawn, so why don't we just hang around for a little bit?
God, that is so exciting for me, because there's so many times that I tried to do public events, especially when I was just starting out playing Destiny, where I just couldn't do it by myself because nobody else would come around. But I get the feeling that, like, I'm curious how this plays in a live environment, because I get the feeling that, like, when other people can see when things are happening with the promise of loot that's going to come out of it, there are going to be a lot more opportunities where people are all working together because they sort of saw the beacon be lit.
Right.
I'm guessing that you're getting kind of shad-wrecked here because you are not really the appropriate level for all this content.
Yeah, so it says there, recommended power 170, as you saw on the screen where I died. And so I honestly can't remember what level I was at when I did this, but you see, it is just me and my two fire teammates. And so what I think will happen in the live game is what you were saying, where people know to expect a public event in a certain area, so they'll be able to really group up and get more people. I feel like there'll be more chances for you to find teammates just in the world.
Why wouldn't they give you a level 20 character to play with? This is mystifying to me. All right, whatever. They made some decisions. And so, did you play the beta at all? I had a chance to check out. I played a lot of it on PS4 whenever it came around.
Yeah, absolutely. I played through the mission that was available in the beta, which is the opening mission of the game, Homecoming. And
so I don't know if the updates that they've made since the beta are in place here, but I was wondering if like things felt a little bit better. They've changed some things, like those yellow bar enemies are now supposed to be a guaranteed power ammo drop, and grenades are supposed to be on a shorter cooldown, and your super's on a shorter cooldown, and grenades are a little bit more powerful. Was that stuff in this build? Did you get a sense that was moving a little bit faster?
It seemed like it, yeah. I mean, it was hard to tell because a lot of that stuff is pretty granular, and
right, sure,
and it'll only really become clear over time. But yeah, it did seem like that was the case. There was some change from the beta, and I should also note that the version of the game that we were playing at this event, is not like the final version that's going to launch up on September 6th.
Oh, hey, so here's another Lost Sector. Cool.
Yeah, and what I will also note that people might have caught in the public event that we did just now, where I was dying a whole bunch to those servitors, is that you can't actually fail public events in Destiny 2. So
there's no timer on them?
No, so there is timer, and you saw it, but it said heroic event complete. But if anybody was watching closely, they will notice that we didn't actually defeat the boss, and so the timer ran out. But what happens is that you will just get lesser loot when that happens.
Okay, so sort of kind of like how it worked in Destiny 1, where you got like a bronze or silver or gold rating,
right,
based on it. And it sounds like in order to even unlock the heroic version, you need to kind of like crush the basic version a little bit.
Yeah, you have to be on top of your game. And so this is another Lost Sector, and I think we were doing this specifically because there was an objective that one of my teammates had, where they were like, complete a Lost Sector near Firebase Hades.
Oh, like a mission that they got?
Yeah, and so...
Okay, interesting. Bounty is the word I was looking for there.
Yeah, and so there aren't bounties per se in Destiny 2. They've kind of been replaced by a different system that, other NPCs will sort of always have activities for you to do, and then it won't be the thing where you go and like get a specific I need to do whatever, like 10 headshots in the Crucible or something.
And then turn it into the postmaster. Yeah.
Right, yeah. And so this is another thing where we really took down the boss very, very quickly at this, Cabal public sector. And so my understanding is, the Cabal law sector, but my understanding is with the law sectors, we were saying earlier that they would be repeatable. And I think the one thing that can change is that the type of enemies that spawn in
interesting.
Can be different. I could be wrong about that, but if that's the case. And so, we'll get some awesome loot.
It's weird, like, I still don't know, like, how into this I'm going to be as a repeatable activity, because that is how I think about Destiny as being, like, this thing you play through once, and then it has this long tail, and I feel like I don't understand, like, how much I'm going to want to do this stuff after I've done it the first time, but holy shit am I excited to get in and, like, get into this world where everybody's kind of starting from the same starting point and not knowing where all this stuff is, and like explore it for the first time myself. Like that is really, really exciting to me before we like actually get into the game here in a week or so.
Yeah, and of course, I am lucky to have a leg up on things, so I will know where things are and how to do them.
Well, but then I need to get all the Prima Pro strats from you.
Yeah, and here, so what I was saying about the public events being a little more involved, what you'll notice with this servitor, now that it's a heroic event, he looks like he just expanded, is that this dude will teleport you around the playing field, and it's really annoying, and it's just about to happen, and whoops, where am I now?
Oh my god, no!
I'm falling on top of the fallen ship that's hovering.
That is so cool.
Yeah. And
it catched you, and that's a fun joke because that's what the ship is called. That's really neat. That's also going to be so annoying.
Yeah,
but also really neat.
Yeah, and so you're really gonna have to work together with teammates and with other random people out in the world who happen to come across these events. And the public events are also another way that they're more rewarding is that. This is something that I didn't get to see in action, but Bungie has talked about this a little bit. These things called flashpoints, where basically, each week you will have a single planet or destination in the game that's kind of the planet of the week, and you will sort of work up to kind of filling in a bar or whatever, making some progress on that planet by doing things like public events. And eventually, if you complete enough of those tasks, you will get what they're saying are Nightfall tier rewards. So even for people who don't...
That's great. I hadn't heard of that. That's really, really a cool idea.
Yeah, so I think a big criticism with Destiny 1 was this idea that at a certain point in the game, it became really, really hard to level up without being to do the high-level activities because you didn't have the gear, and also if you didn't have any friends to play with.
Not just that. Once you beat all the missions on the moon, there were so few reasons for you to go back to the moon or back to Venus or back to Mars, unless you were like grinding planetary mats or you had like a specific bounty that you needed to get there. And it sounds like this is like a way to just keep you going back to all the locations in the game, because Nightfall tier rewards are nothing to mess around with.
Right. And so it's something that you'll be able to do even if you don't have like 2 dedicated Destiny friends that you can get on voice chat with and do a Nightfall without, going back to orbit. That you'll be able to participate in and get those kinds of rewards that really help you level up and still make progress on them by doing things like public events.
Hey, how you like the Hunter? I didn't really get a good feel for it while I played the beta. It was sort of not my favorite.
I tend to play as a range character, and that's why I really like the Hunter. And so it was a little weird to me to play as the Arc Strider and have the super be this very hand-to-hand weapon, the staff.
Well, you also have the dash ability that all the Hunters have that I haven't really seen you make much use of here in this gameplay video.
No, and that's the kind of thing that like I haven't really gotten a handle on, and I sort of need to train myself to use that. There is the you double tap circle, I believe, on the PlayStation 4 and the B button on Xbox, and it's like this kind of dodge roll that you have, and you can set it so that either it'll reload your weapon automatically, or if you dodge near enemies, it'll recharge your melee attack. And that's something that I really enjoyed as the Arc Strider, is that if you see in this video, I was punching things a lot, and I don't know if it's more powerful than the other Hunter classes, but the Arc Strider melee attack is
it's kind of built for that. The idea is that you like roll to somebody, punch them to death, and then immediately your roll is recharged, and you can keep going. It's a neat play style. It's just I really like the Titan Shield and the Warlock area of effect buff thing.
Yeah, people I know are a really big fan. People are really big fans of the new Captain America Titan.
That is probably going to be my jam when I start playing it. I'm worried that like everybody's going to play that, but I think that's what I'm going to be playing as when it comes out.
I don't know. I mean, there's been a dude on Game of Thrones with a flaming sword, so that Warlock class.
That's pretty hot.
It's going to be really.
Yeah, flaming swords are so hot right now. So this is what you were talking about earlier about the bubble shield coming down on a public event. This kind of reminds me of the Shield Brothers strike,
right,
from Destiny 1.
Yeah, and so this is so it was my mistake. This is actually Injection Rig, so it's a different event altogether, not the Cabal excavation that we were doing earlier. But this is a thing that it took us a long time to figure out, as you can tell here.
So what's different in this? What's the objective here?
Yeah, so it says draw down the Infiltrator Valley. So it is like the Shield Brothers strike in that you've got to take down these kind of smaller enemies, these 3 Infiltrator Scions, in order to make basically the strike boss, or excuse me, public event boss, rear his ugly head. And so there you see him trying to take down this Infiltrator Scion, but also you have to. It says here evacuate, and that might have been a thing that I didn't catch in the moment.
Oh, is that where you're hanging around in the bubble and getting burned up?
Yeah. So that's the kind of thing where these are just, as you can see, just there's a lot more to them than there was in Destiny 1, where I think you were kind of just mostly shooting enemies and maybe trying to avoid some attacks from a catch flying.
Yeah,
above.
this feels more like one of the later strikes that came out that had like a lot of mechanics to the boss fight.
Yeah, totally. And again, these are the kinds of activities that will be more rewarding because they are higher level and I think early in.
God, you're so dead.
Yes, I'm about to. I'm burning. And earlier in this video, you might have caught that there was like a special sort of hunter relic that unlocked, and those are the kinds of things that just happen more in the world. They're just in Destiny 2, and you're not necessarily seeking them out, but it seemed like while I was playing that you just had a lot more stuff going on, and things were always happening, and there was always new stuff to do. And this is, we didn't get to the point, we weren't allowed to play all the way through the campaign, and they were saying that, that there's more to do in the endgame. And of course, I can't verify that because I haven't seen it for myself, but it's really appealing to the idea of like there's new stuff to do all the time.
Yeah, and it's like a new type of thing to do. Like, I guess it's not that new because Patrol was in Destiny 1, but there was very little reason to do it. And so really I just felt like I was logging on every Tuesday with the weekly reset and doing the Nightfall and the raid, and then I was done. Like maybe I'd do a quarter of orcs, but then I was done because I just did the activities that I found a group to do with me. I wasn't like going out into the world in any way. And the opportunity to do that and be rewarded for that is as somebody who, again, is planning on sinking a lot of time into this game, is like really exciting for me. This all looks really exciting, and I cannot wait to get out there and play some, probably with you if you're on PS4 like me.
Oh, I will be there, and I will be happy to Sherpa you through the beginning of Destiny.
We'll see who Sherpas who.